Many people do not care what happens to those who commit crimes and are convicted. The problem with this way of thinking is the simple fact that many of these people are not hardened criminals until they hit the prisons. They make mistakes and are paying for them, which means they are maybe able to still lead productive lives. Allowing a prisoner to die because of a bad attitude is not something that should happen, especially for someone in a position of leadership in a jail and someone who has been trained as a medical professional. Lieutenant Shonda Covington and Tanya Farley, RN, forgot their duties and allowed someone with a serious medical condition to worsen until they died. This is not justice in any valid manner, which they are not tasked with. Covington's job was to manage other correctional officers and ensure standards inside the prison. Farley's job was to ensure that the prisoners and those working in the jail were to get the proper medical care. Those failures showed that an already strained system needs to have serious fixes put into place. Instead of these places becoming finishing schools for criminals, they need to be places to help criminals move away from that life. Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself. Now, I have a link in the Substack article with the link down below. A federal prisons bureau lieutenant was found guilty this past weekend of violating the civil rights of an inmate by showing deliberate indifferences to an inmate's serious medical needs. By the way, this is all from a DOJ press release. The lieutenant and an FBOP nurse were also found guilty of making false statements to a federal agent with the intent to obstruct the investigation into an inmate's death. According to the court documents and evidence introduced at trial, Lieutenant Shonda Covington, 49, of Chesterfield, Virginia, and registered nurse Tanya Farley, 53, of Chesterfield, were on duty and working their official capacities at the Federal Correctional Institution at Petersburg, Virginia on January 9, 2021. Covington willfully failed to ensure the inmate, a 47-year-old man identified as WW, was provided with necessary medical care even though she knew that WW had a serious medical need. And Covington and Farley each made false statements to federal agents during the investigation into the inmate's death. Another FBOP official, Lieutenant Michael Anderson, previously pleaded guilty for his role in the inmate's death and was sentenced to 3 years in custody. Covington's inexcusable apathy to the medical needs of WW over the course of 2 days caused his unnecessary death, said Special Agent in Charge Tim Edmonston of the Justice Department's Office of the Inspector General, Mid-Atlantic Region. Covington and Farley also decided to lie about their involvement in order to escape accountability. The Justice Department Office of the Inspector General will continue to investigate civil rights violations at the hands of Federal Bureau of Prison employees. Evidence presented at the trial established that in the early morning hours of January 9, 2021, WW cellmate reported to facility staff that WW was exhibiting bizarre and unprecedented behavior, including that he was suddenly incontinent and unable to talk and walk normally. Over the course of 2 days, FBOP officials knew but disregarded WW symptoms of a sudden neurological crisis, including his sudden incontinence and incomprehension, inability to talk, and struggles to stand or walk without falling. Without medical attention to address his sudden and serious medical need, WW fell into walls and other objects numerous times, causing significant bruising and bleeding to his head and body. Although FBOP policy requires staff to provide necessary medical care to inmates, Covington and Anderson ignored the policy and their training and failed to respond to repeated calls for help from inmates and line staff. WW finally fell headfirst into a wall and then to the floor in an observation cell where, despite inmate observers' continued calls for help, he lay for an hour and 40 minutes before the officers rendered aid. An officer concluded that WW died of blunt force trauma to his head and that the lack of medical assistance he received during the series of falls and after his last fall contributed to his death. Covington and Farley will be sentenced on a later date. Covington faces a maximum of 15 years in prison, and Farley faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence based on U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. Yeah, there ain't no excuse for this. Oh, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment. And I've got a link tree down below that's got my social media, and it has my Patreon if you want to help out. Thank y'all. Oh, look, I don't know what this WW did, and if you're listening to me and you know what he did, okay, let us know. But this feller didn't deserve to die, most likely. I mean, 9 times out of 10, he didn't deserve to die. I'm sure that there are probably other factors involved, but still, this is illegal what they did. They're convicted now, so they're going to have to face what they did. But this is what's going on in our jail system. You wonder why we have criminals that are becoming so much worse. Well, this is why. They know that they're not going to receive justice. They're going to receive garbage. And these folks could lead better lives. Now, depending on what this feller got convicted of, I am pretty certain that he could probably have led a better life after he got out of prison, as long as, he had a chance to. But he's not going to have that chance to. He is not going to be able to repay society for his past mistakes. This is just ridiculous that stuff like this happens. This has been Paul with the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. Folks, I just want to say thank you for listening. I want to thank you for taking your time. I want to hear what your comments are about what you think on this topic, because your comments are what's important, not necessarily mine. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're Democrat. I want to hear your opinion on these topics. I want to thank you yet again for listening to my video. Like, subscribe, and all that other hoopla. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.